Alright, Guardians, this is part 3 of the 3 videos I promised you. This is my Solar Warlock build. Let's get right into it. With the Solar Warlock, we're running the Dawn Blade subclass. I like to run Well of Radiance, which of course we all know Well of Radiance allows us to stay up, gives us restoration and radiant effects for us and our nearby allies, and generates orbs of power. You can run Daybreak, which is where you are launching your solar projectiles from your solar sword. It's great in DPS, but I find that Well of Radiance, it's just too good to pass up. I like to run Phoenix Dive, which Phoenix Dive is when you're in the air and you hold your ability button down. You will dive to the ground and you will cast Cure for you and your nearby allies, which will start regenerating your health. Now, since we're airborne, I like to use Strafe Glide. It gives you better directional control while you're in the air. The Incinerator Snap. The Incinerator Snap is so much fun as our charge melee, and it is key for how we activate our exotic in this build. And of course, the grenade of choice is going to be the Solar Grenade. Aspects we are running: Touch of Flame. With Touch of Flame, it has different effects on what it does with your grenades. So since we're running our solar grenades, it increases the duration, and what these solar grenades do is they start shooting out little lava blobs, I guess you could say, around and increase the damage. Heat Rises. Heat Rises is very fun aspect to use. I like to use it because I like to be able to consume my grenade, and then when I do, I'm able to just perpetually just stay in the air as long as I want, and I'm flying around, I'm taking down enemies, I'm snapping enemies, I'm throwing grenades, it's just so much fun. I feel like the weapon of choice I like to use for my primary, I feel like when I'm running around with this gun, I feel like I'm a AC-10 Warthog to fighter plane. It's so cool. Fragments I like to run with this build: Ember of Searing, which defeating scorched targets grants your melee energy, which you will be using your melee a lot, so this helps in its recovery. Ember of Eruptions. Your solar ignitions have increased area of effect. Ember of Ashes. You apply more scorch stacks to your targets. And Ember of Char. Your ignition spreads scorch to your affected enemies. Special weapon I like to run is the Riptide, which is a stasis fusion rifle you can obtain through Crucible. With mine, I have Stats for All, which hitting 3 separate targets increases your handling, stability, and reload of the weapon. And Chill Clip. Chill Clip is an interesting talent because when you direct hits with the top half of the magazine, cause a detonation of stasis energy that can actually slow or even freeze your enemies. And it just comes in handy when you're, especially on higher end enemies, the yellow bars, like Knights or Cabal or whatever you're fighting. It freezes them in place, it gives you time to back off, or you can just push forward in the advance and just decimate them, and it just makes them a wide open target for you and your fire team. Also has One Quiet Moment, grants increased reload speed when you're out of combat. I wish I had something else here, but this is the roll I got, and I'm rolling with it. Now my primary weapon of choice, Guardians. If you do not have a Callus Mini tool, this is the gun to use for any solar build. I highly recommend picking this up. It is craftable. This gun it's just my standard for this build. It has a high rate of fire, magazine size is decent, its stability and handling, it's excellent. With my particular, I want to have small bore, attack mag, enhanced unrelenting, which when you defeat targets it triggers health regeneration. Enhanced incandescent. Incandescent is a key perk for this weapon. Defeating your target spreads a longer lasting scorch, and what it does is when you defeat these scorched enemies, they cause a solar explosion, so the scorch travels over to another enemy, and another enemy. It's just a chain reaction. Very handy and useful in trash mob cleanup. Exotic of choice I like to use is Big Daddy Galley, the Gallahorn. Gallahorn, even though everyone's like, "Ooh, Gallahorn," ooh, there's better exotics out there. I love using Gallahorn. I'm an original Destiny 1 player. This was the weapon to have. It's still the weapon to have. I got my catalyst complete for it, which increases your mag size and you get more wolf pack rounds. And I can't remember if it was a season prior that Rocket, especially Gallahorn, got I wouldn't call it a nerf, but it got a change in its how the weapon worked, which Gallahorn had. It was almost like proximity detonation for its rockets, so they would blow up before they would impact the target. Now, what Destiny has done with this, they've increased the blast radius to 100 on Gallahorn, and it will directly impact the enemy. You'll get damage from that on top of the damage of the Wolfpack rounds. So it's like Gallahorn has gotten, even though it got nerfed, you could say, has gotten stronger because of it. Armor pieces, I like running a solar helmet with resilience. Since we're running Gallahorn, we want ammo for Gallahorn, so rocket launcher ammo finder. Harmonic siphon. We all know harmonic siphon is excellent in generating those orbs of power when you defeat enemies using weapons matching your subclass. And Well of Life. When you pick up those solar elemental wells, what it does is will begin regenerating your health. It aids in our survivability. My exotic armor piece of choice for this build are the Sunbracers. Sunbracers make this build insane. I've had a lot of people comment that it does awesome damage. I've had a lot of people complain about the build because they're like, I can't see anything other than your solar grenades. But when it comes down to it, this build will just destroy whatever you're just shit flinging these grenades at. I like to run stasis on these particular gauntlets because of melee kickstart. With melee kickstarts, when your melee is fully expended, you gain that melee energy. Well, you're probably asking, Darby, why are you having a melee mod on a grenade exotic? Well, the answer to that is, with Sunbracers, its armor perk, Helium Spirals, increase the duration of a solar grenades. Solar melee kills grant unlimited, let me say it again, unlimited solar grenade energy for a brief time. So what this does is when you do your melee, your incinerator snap, and you defeat a target with it, you'll get a little proc for 5 seconds of the helium spirals, and you can throw your solar grenades. You can throw up to 5 of them. It's just awesome. You can totally lock down areas. You can totally just surround a boss with these and just melt them down. So when you proc Sunbracers and you throw that grenade, it automatically regenerates. You can throw another one, automatically regenerates, throws another one. You can throw up to 5 in the 5-second timer it gives you. Once that timer's up, you got to do another melee to activate Sunbracers again. So you can perpetually have unlimited grenades as long as you're getting the melee kills to proc Sunbracers. Armor piece I like to run for the chest is the solar energy with resilience, thermoshock plating, which is a seasonal artifact mod from the seasonal artifact this season, and we have concussive dampener, which reduces our area of effect damage. And since we are blowing things up, throwing grenades, making explosions, we want to use explosive wellmaker. With explosive wellmaker, when you cause explosive damage, you are generating solar wells. For the boots, of course, we're running solar. Have a resilience mod. Absolution, which Absolution reduces all ability cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. So this goes hand in hand with Harmonic Siphon. So I am getting reduced ability cooldown times. I am regenerating health. It just goes hand in hand. You would be ignorant if you passed up Harmonic Siphon and using your Absolution. Next is recuperation. I'm sorry, I can't read. Replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power. So again, goes hand in hand with our survivability with Harmonic Siphon. And Font of Might. Font of Might gives you increased weapon damage when you pick up wells that match your subclass. So in our case, we're generating solar wells. So when we do solar weapon final blows, which we have Callous Mini Tool and Gallahorn for that, we're generating those wells for us. Last but not least is the class item. Solar, running Resilience, Double Bomber. I love running Double Bomber because it reduces our grenade cooldown every time we use our class ability, which our class ability is Phoenix Dive. And you will be using that a lot to cure and regenerate your health for not only yourself but your allies. And Bountiful Wells. We love spamming elemental wells, helps get our abilities back up much quicker. So with Bountiful Wells, whatever is generating wells for you, Bountiful Wells will double that. So Guardians, that is my bonus video for you, the Solar Warlock build. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a try. And as always, Guardians, stay safe out there.